Ridge's lane 4 will be taking first. Now it just comes down to who can get second. As of now, it is looking like lane 3 for Catholic will be taking that second place spot. It says it's live. Just keep going, it doesn't matter. And event 1 has concluded. In first place was lane 4 for Oak Ridge, being Windham, Fisher, Kindle, and Hodge. And second was lane 3 for Catholic, featuring Pardue, Ackerman, Talent, and Coco. We now move on to event 2, the Men's 200 Medley Relay. But first, a word from our sponsors.
The Mail Center, ETC, all your shipping needs. Thank you very much for sponsoring us, and the next event is about to begin. John, what is the next event going to be?
The next event is the male 200-meter medley relay. Once again, Oak Ridge is in lanes 2 and 4. We have no participants in lane 6. Now, for Catholic, they will be in lanes 3, 5, and 1. Looking like Oak Ridge's lane 4 is once again taking the lead. The first swimmer out for them being Hodge. As Hodge touches back, Sudeth is in. Now it looks like Catholic's lane 3 is pulling ahead. This will be neck and neck. Catholic's lane 3, right just barely ahead of Oak Ridge's lane 4. As Arnold touches back for Catholic, Goodwin is in. As Sudeth touches back, Brown is in. Hayes Brown for Oak Ridge making it back up. It is once again neck and neck for lanes 4 and 3. Oak Ridge is lane 4, Catholic is lane 3. Hayes touches back first. Zukov is in for Oak Ridge. Bertucci for lane 3 for Catholic. Behind him is going to get second. Hayes Brown for Oak Ridge just being able to pull it ahead and getting a first place for Oak Ridge's lane 4. As the final swimmers come in, that concludes event 2, and we will now be moving on to event 3, the women's 200-meter free. But first, a word from our sponsors, WIT Services, whatever it takes. Thank you for sponsoring us, and we will now be beginning our third event, which, as I previously stated, was the women's 200-meter free. Now, for Oak Ridge, in lane 2, we have Luton. And in lane 4, we have Kindle. And in lane 6, we have Shea. And we also have in lane 7, in an open exhibition, Foy McDaniel. Now, for Catholic, in lane 3, 1 and 5. In lane 3, we have Maria Coco. In lane 1, we have Christina Taylor. And in lane 5, we have Adriana Villarosa. As of now, looking like lane 4 taking home that early lead, and of course, that is Oak Ridge's Kendall. As far as second, it is a very close race between 3 and 5 Catholics, 2 swimmers, them being Maria Coco in lane 3 and Adriana Villarosa in lane 5. It appears that Adriana Villarosa for Catholic is just slightly ahead of Maria Coco in lane 3. But as of now, it looks like Kendall has submitted a win in this event. Just like that, Kendall for Oak Ridge in lane 4 has earned first place. And it looks like Coco in lane 3 has pulled ahead of Villarosa in lane 5. While placement among the same team doesn't matter too much for a personal record, this must look pretty good. Especially since she was lagging behind Villarosa for most of the earlier match. It just shows how much can change as the fuel in your tank starts to get lower. As our final swimmers comes in, that concludes event 3. And before we move on to event 4, Christian, would you mind giving us a word from our sponsors?
Yes, Bud's Farmhouse and Bud's Farmhouse Coffee. Happiest place in Oak Ridge. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. Now on to the
men's 200 meter free. For Oak Ridge, we have in lane 2, Nizer, in lane 4, Brown, and in lane 6, Krogel as well. We will have O'Neill in a open exhibition. Now, for Catholic, in lane 5, we have Dylan Arnold. In lane 1, we have Colin Tornstrom. And in lane 3, we have Hank Burris. Once again, somewhat seeing a return of the last match. Lane 4 in the lead with lane 3 and 5 close on his tail. Tejas was able to pull out a first place in the medley relay. Can he get him another first in the 200 meter free? Brown isn't blowing him out, but he's keeping a good distance between him. But Burris and Arnold aren't letting him get too far ahead of him. Once again, it's looking like Arnold in lane 5 is in second place right now. But you've just got to ask, can he keep it up? Or are we going to see a repeat with lane 3 coming back to get the win? Or a higher placement, I guess. Tejas lengthening his lead on the Catholic swimmers in lane 3 and 5, and he pulls in that first place. And it looks like Arnold is able to hold on to that second place, but Burris will grab the third. As event 4 ends, Christian, would you mind giving us another word from our sponsors?
Yes. Stealth Forward Sharpening, Wicked Sharp Edges. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. And now on to the next event,
which is event number 5, the female 200-meter IM. For Oak Ridge, in lane 2, we have Ozcan. In lane 4, we have Fisher. And in lane 6, we have Trabalka. Now, for Catholic, in lane 3, we have Pardue. And in lane 5, Mayfield. An interesting statistic on the sheets we got from Catholic, it shows that last year, Pardue in lane 3 completed this in 2 minutes, 24 seconds. Now to see if they can place higher than that time. They're on the block. And they're off. Fisher in lane 4, neck and neck with Pardue in lane 3. Actually, it's starting to look like Fisher's pulling just ahead. This is going to be neck and neck. This is just going to come down to who can stay. Who can keep the endurance up for the longest. Fisher and Pardue back to back. This is going to be a close race. As of now, it does appear, though, that on the turnaround, Fisher is getting a slight boost. This could come back to help her in the long run. Getting some player assistance from our male swimmers. So like Fisher is still just slightly in the lead. Fisher holds the lead. Can she pull it in for the lead? Fisher once again gets that boost. Can she capitalize? This is neck and neck. Fisher's just slightly ahead. Can she get it? She does not. Fisher places second. Pardue gets first place. First event of the night that Oak Ridge does not place first in. You can't say that wasn't an interesting one. That was neck and neck the whole time. It just came down to that there at the very end. Who turned on the Jets? Now, before we move on to event 6, Christian, do you have any more words from our sponsors?
I do have another one. Nutritious Foundation Sustainable Weight Loss Solutions. Thank you very much for sponsoring us. And once this event's finished, we'll move on to the next one, which is
the men's 200-meter IM.
And who's going to be swimming for
the men's 200 IM? We've got for Oak Ridge in lane 2, Sudduth. In lane 4, Shu. And that is all for Oak Ridge. Now, on to Catholic. In lane 3, we have Bertucci. In lane 5, Spezia. And in lane 1, Murphy. Once again, we do have some info when it comes to Catholic. In lane 5, Spezia last year completed this in 3 minutes, nearly flat. Now, in lane 3, Bertucci finished this in 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Will Catholic be able to pull out another win? As of now, Shu in lane 4 has got the lead. But Catholic's lane 3 and 5 are hot on his tail. Actually, it looks like Sudduth in lane 2 is taking second place. For the first time tonight, we might be seeing 2 Oak Ridge swimmers top. Yes, it is. Sudduth is in second, way ahead of the swimmers in lanes 3 and 5. Can he keep it up? As of now, for the top 3, we have Shu in 4th, Sudduth, and in lane 3 for Catholic, Bertucci. Sudduth has a sizable lead on Bertucci. He's just got to keep ahead of him to get that second place spot. This one definitely not as close as a race. Not as close. Surprisingly, though, for the first time tonight, we have a great possibility of seeing 2 Oak Ridge swimmers on the top 3 podium. It looks like, though, as I'm saying that Shu in lane 4 has finished. And Sudduth in lane 2 finishes in for that second place spot. Oak Ridge only had 2 swimmers in this event, and boy, did they swim well tonight. As our final Catholic swimmers come in, that concludes event number 6. Coming up is the women's 50-meter free, which will be our first event of the night to have multiple heats. But before we get to that, Christian, mind giving us a word from our sponsors?
Yes, Countryside Tire and Auto Service, new tires, tuned up, ready to go. Thank you so much for sponsoring us, and now on to event 7.
That is great to hear. For Heat 1, for Oak Ridge, in lane 2, we have Cherry. In lane 4, we have Hodge. And in lane 6, we have Wooten. Now, for Catholic, in lane 5, we have Grover. In lane 7, we have McBrayer. And in lane 1, we have Odell. And in lane 3, we have Talent. Looking like lane 4 is in the lead, but lane 3 is right on her tail. This being a 50-meter free, this is going to be quick. Looking like Hodge is pulling in. Hodge gets the first. It's hard to commentate a 50-meter free because it goes by fast. It's basically just like a bullet getting shot and then boomeranging back.
And who is swimming for Heat 2?
For Heat 2, we have for Oak Ridge in lane 1, Perez. In lane 2, Delmau. In lane 3, Stamsel. In lane 4, Umansky. In lane 5, Beatty. In lane 6, Williamson. Looks like a sea of gray. all Oak Ridge swimmers except for in lane 7, where Hillard for Catholic is doing a free exhibition. Great event. Now down to the final heat of this event. For Oak Ridge, in lane 1, we have Martin. In lane 2, we have Saunders. In lane 3, we have O'Neill. In lane 4, we have Grubb. In lane 5, we have Tress. In lane 6, we have Coons. We have no Catholic swimmers for heat 3. This is another sea of gray. Great performance by our Oak Ridge swimmers. We now move on to event number 8, the men's 50-meter free. And for Oak Ridge, in lane 2, we have Hodge. In lane 4, we have Zukov. In lane 6, we have Acevedo. And for a free exposition, we have Greenhound. Sorry for any mispronunciations of names. For Catholic, in lane 3, we have Arnold. In lane 1, we have Allen. And in lane 5, we have Goodwin. We're going by quick, but I think lane 4 for Oak Ridge is gonna take the win here. We now move on to heat number 2. For Oak Ridge, in lane 2 is Ryan. In lane 4 is Shin, and in lane 6 is Millette. And in lane 7, we have another free exhibition with O'Neill swimming for Oak Ridge. Now for Catholic in heat 2, we have in lane 3, Stovall, and in lane 5, McCollum, and in lane 1, Harris. It's looking like this is going to be a tight race between lanes 3 and 5 for Catholic.
Actually, see lane 7.
Free exposition.
Yep.
Does not affect the overall. This is just someone going for a personal time, Christian.
Okay. But
You can't win a race when you're practicing, Christian. And that concludes event 8. Christian, do you mind really quickly giving us 2 more ad reads?
yes, thank you, ProMaster Trim. You dream it, we build it, and Daughters of the Earth Co. Created with Earth in mind. Thank you so much for sponsoring us.
I do not know what this event is. I don't believe this is the women's 100-meter fly. Is it possible we could have jumped ahead? Could this be heat 3? We may have jumped ahead, ladies and gentlemen.
This is heat 3.
Yes. That concludes event 8. Christian, you want to give those advertisements again? Because I don't know if they were able to be heard.
Well, okay. Yeah, anyways, thanks again to ProMaster Trim. You dream it, we build it. And Daughters of the Earth Co. Created with Earth in mind. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. And now on to
event number 11, which is the women's 100-meter fly. For Oak Ridge, in lane 2, we have Stager. In lane 4, we have Kindle. And for Catholic, for event 11, we have in lane 3, Coco, and in lane 5, Odell. Yes. The break will now be beginning. When we come back, event 11, the women's 100-meter fly. While we're on break, Christian, you want to give us 2 more ad reads?
Yes. Thank you to the Children's Museum of Oak Ridge, Learning Fun for All Ages, and CS Engineering Inc., Quality Technical Service for the nuclear and chemical industries since 1992. Thank you so much for sponsoring us.
It's been an interesting night so far. Oak Ridge has had a commanding lead in a lot of the events, but that is not to say that Catholic hasn't powered through. Catholic has made a big contribution to cutting it close in close races.
Yes, anyways, we're going to take a little bit of a break since I kind of hear John's voice cracking a little bit. We'll give him a little bit of time to rest. And we'll be right back with event number 11, right? Yes, 11. Okay.
And it looks like we are back. Once again, this is the women's 100-meter fly. Welcome back from the break. Once again, Oak Ridge is in lane 2 and 4. Catholic is in lane 3 and 5. Right now, it is looking like Kendall in lane 4 is in the lead. But Coco in lane 3 is staying very close behind her. Kendall's keeping that lead. Should get a quick first time in for the Oak Ridge team. But Coco for Catholic, it's very hot on that second place spot. Like that, Kendall gets first, Coco gets second, and Steger gets third for Oak Ridge. As the final swimmer comes in for Catholic, Christian, can you give us another ag breed?
Yes. Peggy sells homes. Peggy sells homes.
Bet they do. But now we move on as the final swimmer comes in to event 12, the men's 100-meter fly. For Oak Ridge in lane 2, we have Veneta. In lane 4, we have Brown. And in an open exhibition in lane 7, we have Greenhouse. Once again, apology for any names said incorrectly. Catholic in lane 3, 5, and 1. In lane 3, we have Goodwin. In lane 5, we have Blanco. And in lane 1, we have Tayo. At first, I couldn't tell there was a swimmer in lane 4. He stayed underwater for so long. Of course he's staying under so long. It's Brown for Oak Ridge. Teus Brown presenting another one of his big leads. And once again, the swimmer in lane 2 is hot on the track for second place. That is Veneta in lane 2.
And Teus Brown finishes in first place, followed by
Veneta gets third with Blanco in lane 5, placing second. Oak Ridge is doing a good job of getting these first place times, but in the long run, Catholic is eating up these second and third times. While not big at the moment, in the long run, these times are going to help a victory. But that concludes event number 12. Christian, we won't have enough time. Let's go straight into event 13, another multi-heat. Oak Ridge has lane 2, 4, and 6 with Delamau in lane 7 for an open exhibition. Catholic holds lanes 3, 5, and 1. Catholic only participating in Heat 1. Oak Ridge dominating
It looks like lane 3 is
taking the lead. Yes, that is for Catholic, who finished this event in 57 seconds. Pardue highly building off of her quick times from last year, setting up a really good personal score for herself this year. And we now move on to Heat 2, which is dominated by Oak Ridge swimmers, it appears. In lane 2, we have Perez. In lane 4, we have Williamson. In lane 6, we have Samsel. In lane 7, for open exhibition, we have Saunders. When you just got one team out there, it becomes less of a race against the other swimmers and more just a race against time. This will be in an attempt to just build up these quicker personal times. Christian, from your point of view, who do you think's in first right now? I agree, Christian. This is tough to tell. And it appears that lane 2 for Oak Ridge, Perez has gotten back in the quickest time.
But anyways, a quick word from our sponsor, Linden S. Hurd Orthodontist. Your beautiful smile awaits. And J&M's Butcher Shop, you pick it, we chop it. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. And now on to...
Looks like we're moving on to event 14, the men's 100 free. For Oak Ridge, in lane 2 we have Vo. In lane 4 we have Zukov. No, it just looks like the men are testing out the board. We are moving on to Heat 3. Got confused for a second. Once again, all Oak Ridge swimmers just out here looking to better their times. And it's looking like, as of now, Toth in lane 4 is going to be getting back in the quickest time. And as our final swimmers come in, that will conclude event 13, and we'll now move on to event 14, which, as I started to introduce, is the men's 100-meter freestyle.
But a quick word from our sponsor, Chop Shop Hair Studio.
A little bit of
little bit of-
country.
A little bit of rock and roll. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. And now, John, who's going to be filming this next event?
Well, once again, for event 14, the men's 100-meter freestyle for Oak Ridge. In lane 2, we have Bo. In lane 4, we have Zukov. And in lane 6, we have Acevedo. And for Catholic, in lane 3, we have Arnold. In lane 5, we have Tornstrom. And in lane 1, we have McCollum. Right now, looking like a close race between lane 3 and 4. Looking like lane 3 might just be slightly ahead. This is Arnold versus Zukov. Zukov pulling ahead in lane 4. Zukov in lane 4 is just inches ahead of Arnold in lane 3. As for third place, it's looking like Tornstrom in lane 5. This event, once again, is another multi-heat. So as our final swimmers come in, we will be ramping up for Heat 2, which features in lane 2, Licavoli, in lane 4, Nizer, and in lane 6, Ryan. Ryan's quick to finish projects in our art class. Will he be quick to finish this race? Right now, looking like lane 3's in the lead, with lane 5 in second. Lane 4 for Oak Ridge is trailing. Looking like Catholic might be taking home for this event a rare first place, but a much welcomed one. It looks like lane 4 is stalling. Lane 6, Ryan taking that third place position possibly. Lane 3 for Catholic grabs first. Lane 6 for Oak Ridge able to grab second. Ryan doing a good job there to come back at the end and grab second. Kind of like a switch of what would basically be seen. Second place for Oak Ridge is a very rare occurrence tonight. We'll now be getting ready for Heat 3, which for Oak Ridge has in lane 2, Del Mal, in lane 4, Blanco, and that is all for Oak Ridge. It's looking like just 2 Oak Ridge swimmers out for this heat.
But I would like to get a quick word from our sponsor, TCDI, People Focused, Performance Driven. Thank you very much for sponsoring us.
And now back to the event. As these swimmers come in for the final inches, we move on to event 15. It's a big one, the women's 500-meter free. This is no easy feat. This is going to take a lot of power and energy. But if anyone can do it, it is these swimmers tonight. It's looking like Del Mal in lane 2 is going to be getting back in the quicker time. And that will conclude event 14. And now it is time for the behemoth of event 15, the 500-meter freestyle. For Oak Ridge in lane 2, we have Branham. In lane 4, we have Hodge. And that is all for Oak Ridge. As for Catholic, in lane 3, we have Ackerman. And in lane 5, we have Villarosa. This is always a tough event to commentate because it's very just it's a long haul. Who can keep up their endurance for the longest and who can just pull out that win at the end? You just gotta decide what do you want to do. You want to put as much energy as you can into the start to build a lead, or do you want to save it for the end so you can make a quick dash? Before we begin, though, a quick word from our sponsors, the Pharrell Shop, gifts, accessories, kitchenwares, and bridal registry needs. While we're waiting for this event to begin, another word from our sponsors, Oak Ridge Nutrition. Come get your shake on. They're lining up. Time to begin. The biggest slug off possibly, and there is. This is neck and neck right now. 3, 4, and 5. Looking like neck and neck for lanes 3 and 5. 3 and 4, actually. 5 trailing. Looking like lane 3 pulling ahead. Lane 5 might possibly be conserving energy. Lane 4 and 3 right now in the slugfest. Lane 3 holding that lead. This event is much physical as it is mental in a weird sort of way. Lane 3 is holding a powerful lead right now. Question is, will this come back to bite her in the end? You don't want to use up too much energy now, because that really could hurt you near the end. This could be a very important first place win for Catholic here. Since coming back from the break, Catholic has done very well to start collecting their first places, trying to even out with Oak Ridge. Interestingly enough, last year, Ackerman in lane 3 finished this in a time of 5 minutes, 43 seconds. By her commanding lead, it looks like she's looking to build off of that time. It just looks like lane 3 isn't wavering. Lane 4's only hope is that just eventually Ackerman's going to run out of gas, but that just does not look likely. But I mean, still, Hodge in lane 4 isn't giving it up yet. This hasn't been a blowout. This has been close. That happens. And lane 3 finishes strong. It was a commendable effort by Oak Ridge in lane 4, but lane 3 just did not stop. They kept their foot on the gas for this whole race. It just never took it off. That is going to be a very good win in the long run for them. It now comes down to Oak Ridge in lane 2 and Catholic in lane 5. Who can get that third and fourth? For lane 2 in Oak Ridge, we've got Branham. On the other hand, in lane 5 for Catholic, we have Villarosa. And Branham finishes out strong for Oak Ridge, getting that third place spot. And that concludes event 15. But we are now moving on to event 16, the men's 500 meter free. Before we get to that though, Christian, do you mind giving us some words from our sponsors?
Yeah, the real estate office, see me for the key, and the string workshop, violin rentals and sales, expert instrument repairs. Strings are our specialty. Thank you very much for sponsoring us, and now on to the next event.
Event 16, the males 500-meter free. For Oak Ridge in lane 4, we have Hodge, the only Oak Ridge swimmer for the night. And for Catholic in lane 1, we have Allen. In lane 5, Bertucci. And in lane 3, Blanco. Extremely nervous right now. This is basically a 1-on-3. You are carrying your team. But it looks like he's not letting that face him, as right now he's in the lead. His sister put up a good fight in the last event to get second. Can he, in a way, build off of what she has already done? Hodge still keeping that lead. It's a big lead, too. Hodge really building off of last year. He is becoming a star swimmer for this team. Looks like we're having some confusion about what lap we're on for Hodge. I can only assume, though, as stressful as it is to swim it, stressful it is to keep count of it. Keep count of it. 'Cause I sure know we're having a hard time of it. I don't know about you, Christian, but it looks like Hodge is just blowing the competition out of the water.
It is.
As for interesting times, Cameron Allen for Catholic in lane 1 last year, he placed a time of 6 minutes 32 seconds on this. It might be early to say this, but I feel like Hodge is he's lapping the competition. Not to jinx anything, but as of now, this is Oak Ridge's race to lose. With such a big lead, it'd be hard to imagine that as a possibility, but crazier things have happened. Looks like Hodge is starting to get a little gas. This lead that early lead might have been good for him. Being a lap ahead is definitely helping Hodge right now. He's on his last stretch. Can Hodge pull in a lead for the Oak Ridge Wildcats? It looks likely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not only look like he's bringing in a win, he's bringing in a lap win. If you were going to build off of that last event, this is the way to do it. He's sticking his hand up in celebration. Hodge is the first place winner for Oak Ridge. It sounds weird now. I started out talking about how if I were Hodge, I'd be nervous because this was a 3v1. I don't know about him, but I don't think he saw any of the other swimmers. This might have just been a 1v no one to him. Hodge doing a really good job of just putting that stress out of his mind, and that concludes event 16. Before we start our next event, Christian, can you quickly give us our next ad?
Yes. Explore Oak Ridge. Start here to see Oak Ridge. Thank you very much for sponsoring us. And now is
event 17, the female 200-meter free relay. For Oak Ridge. In lane 1, we have Toth, Martin, Rub, and Coons, but that is an open exhibition. In lane 2, we have Trabalka, Umansky, Burge, and Delamau. In lane 4, we have Cherry, Thornton, Oscan, and Kendall. In lane 5, we have Shea, Brunham, Wooten, Foy, and McDaniel, another open expedition. And in lane 6, we have Beatty, Perez, Williamson, and Samsel. And in lane 7, another open exhibition for Tress, Saunders, Samsel, and O'Neill. As for Catholic only has one trio out there in lane 3. As our final swimmers come in, that concludes event 17. Before we start event 18, a quick word from our sponsors. Outschool Classes by Tammy W., where kids love learning. Receive $20 off your first Outschool class. Speaking of Outschool, Outschool.com, an innovative educational platform for live small group classes. Join us at Outschool.com. And we are now getting set up for event 18, the men's 200-meter free relay. This will be a multi-heat event. Oak Ridge is in lane 2 for lane 2 and 4. Catholic is in 1, 3, and 5. Lane 1, 3, and 5. Catholic is in. Oh. It looks like many of our final swimmers are coming out. And that concludes Heat 1 of Event 18. We now move on to Heat 2, where for Oak Ridge, in lane 2, we have Delmal, Blanco, Acevedo, and Shin. And in lane 4, Grubb, O'Neill, Licavulli, and Greenhow. And it appears Catholic won't have any participation. This is just a race for a better time. And they're off. Christian, what have you thought so far about the performances of these two teams tonight? Anything that stands out to you?
It stands out to me, well, just in the first half before the break, seeing how much Oak Ridge was able to take first place, and then in the second, once we came back, we actually saw a lot of Catholic being first place, but we also got a handful of people coming in first place from Oak Ridge, such as Dylan Hodge, finishing that 500 meter far ahead of his competition.
Well, that's all good. First places are always great to see, but in the long run, Nothing beats having your team get the top 3 best times. Because first place is nice, but in the end, those second and thirds are going to stack up for Catholic. And as our final swimmer comes out, Christian, would you mind giving us a word from our sponsors?
And thanks again to TCDI, People Focused, Performance Driven, and Phoenix Sign, LLC. Phoenix Sign has the best deals in Knoxville. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. And as the last swimmer finishes, we're going to move on to the next event.
We are entering the home stretch. We've only got 2 of each. No, 3 of each for our swimmers. But next up is event 19, the women's 100-meter backstroke. As they get in for Oak Ridge, in lane 2 we have Oscan, in lane 4 we have Windham, and in lane 6 we have Steger, and in open exhibition in lane 7 we have Foy McDaniel. For Catholic, in lane 19 we have, in lane 3 we have Talent, in lane 7 we have Hillard, and in lane 5 we have McBrayer. Looking like a close race between lanes 3 and 4. But all around, it's a close race. But it looks like lane 3 is taking the lead. That is Talent. It's close, though. Windham is on her tail. But Talent is able to make it back first. Christian, could you call that a talented win there?
I guess I would, John. Anyways.
Before we move on to our second heat, would you like to give us another ad read?
Yeah, thank you, New York Salon. Style, Trends, and Mode. Thank you very much for sponsoring us. And now on to Heat 2.
Now for Heat 2, we have for Oak Ridge in lane 1, Toth, in lane 2, Trabalka, in lane 3, Samsel, in lane 4, Branham, in lane 5, Gumansky, in lane 6, Shea, and in lane 7, in open exhibition, Tress. The Sea of Silver returns. We have Oak Ridge in all 7 lanes. We've got 40 viewers watching this right now. Thanks so much for coming out tonight. This sure has been just a very entertaining race. As was said in the talk show today, this was going to be close, and it very much is. Outside of racing, though, Oak Ridge is doing a really good time to better itself in its personal times. as our final swimmers come in, that will conclude event 19, and that sets us up for event 20, the men's 100-meter backstroke. Now, for Oak Ridge, in lane 2, we have Banata. In lane 4, we have Cho. In lane 6, we have Krogel. And for Catholic, actually, it appears that there will be another heat for the women's 100-meter backstroke. We have one Catholic swimmer coming out. As this swimmer tries to better their time, we would like to thank Will's Towing, always on call, always on time. We want to thank you for sponsoring us. We really are just not having a lot of good luck tonight. Being able to tell when events are ending. That's for sure. Hey, it's the first stream of the season. You can't make a good omelet without cracking a couple eggs. Am I right, Christian?
No, I don't think you can. I don't think that's how an omelet works. But I would also like to thank Lee and Barton, DDS. Every great smile starts here.
We want to thank you for sponsoring us. I'd like to thank Salvador's Lawn Care, all your lawn care and landscaping needs.
And one more sponsor I would like to thank is EGT Printing Studio, Vision to Reality. Thank you very much for sponsoring us. And as this swim is finishing up, we
truly have finished event 19. And we will now move on to
the men's 100 backstroke.
now, once again, for Oak Ridge in lane 2, we have Banata. In lane 4, we have Cho. In lane 6, we have Krogel. Now, for Catholic, we have in lane 3, Burris. In lane 5, Tayo. And in lane 1, Murphy. Coincidentally, last year, Burris completed this event with a time of 57 seconds. I don't know about you, but I don't think a lot of these other swims have been finishing in sub-minute times. But it looks like Cho in lane 4 might be going for a sub-minute time as well, as he is ahead of lane 3.
Cho finishes in first place, followed by lane 3 in second.
Burris gets his second place. But an Oak Ridge swimmer is able to grab third, that being Banata in lane 2. And that now sets us up for Heat 2 of the men's 100-meter backstroke. This features, from Oak Ridge, In lane 1, Blanco. In lane 2, Shin. In lane 3, Acevedo. In lane 4, Millet. In lane 5, Grubb. And that is all. Another wall of silver coming right at us. And it looks like Millet will be finishing first to grab that quickest time. As our final swimmers come in, that concludes Event 20. Before we move on to Event 21, we'd like to thank the J&C Market, all your quick stop needs. With that, we now move on to Event 21, the women's 100-meter breaststroke. Now, for Oak Ridge, in lane 2 we have Cherry, in lane 4 we have Fisher, in lane 6 we have Thornton, and now for Catholic, in lane 3 we have Ackerman, in lane 5 we have Taylor, in lane 1 we have Brinkman, and in open exhibition in lane 7 we have Mayfield. Looking like Fisher in lane 4 is taking that quick lead. And Cherry in lane 2 grabbing that second. Christian got a little splash there. This is what Oak Ridge needs to secure them a win. 2 swimmers placing in the top. Cherry's doing good though, staying just ahead of Ackerman, who finished this event last year with a time of 1:22. And Fisher finishes first. And Cherry grabs the second. As well, Ackerman is able to grab the third. We'll now be moving on to Heat 2 of the women's 100-meter breaststroke with, in lane 2, Coons, in lane 4, Burge, and in lane 6, Martin. As our final swimmers come in, we'd like to thank the Grove Market, your needs all in one stop. Thank you for sponsoring us tonight. And that concludes event 21. We now move on to event 22, the final non-combined event of the evening. That event is the men's 100-meter breaststroke. For Oak Ridge in lane 2, we have Vo. In lane 4, we have Sutter. And that is all for Oak Ridge. For Catholic, we have in lane 3, Arnold. In lane 5, McCullum. In lane 1, Spezia. And in an open expedition in lane 7, Mayfield. No, McCullum, that being Chase McCullum. In lane 5 is Jonah McCullum. Right now, looking like lane 3's got the lead. Arnold's got the lead, and right now, Sutter in second. Sutter's already placed second to clinch a top 2 Oak Ridge in a former event. Unable to grab a first in this event, but still keeping Oak Ridge in the top 3. It is Arnold for Catholic getting a first place for them. As our final swimmers come in, we'd like to thank the Millborn Bakery. When you think yummy, think Millborn.
And finally, Knox Graphics and Signs. You think it, we can ink it. Thank you so much for all these sponsors once again for being able to sponsor us tonight. And now for the final event of the night.
This is the combined men's and women's 400-meter freestyle relay. You have Catholic in lane 1, 3, 5, and 6. And Oak Ridge in 2 and 4. In lane 2 is the women, Windham, Stager, Hodge, and Fisher. And in lane 4, the men, Brown, Hodge, Sukoff, and Cho. For Catholic, in lane 3, we have, for the women, Odell, Taylor, Villarosa, and Brinkman. In lane 1, also for the women, Grover, Mayfield, McBrayer, and Hillard. And then for the males, in lane 5, Burris, Arnold, Tornstrom, and Arnold. And in lane 7, Amick, Stovall, Spezia, and Calvori. Looks like we only have 3 lanes in use tonight. Lane 1 empty. So it looks like we're seeing a 2v1 Oak Ridge versus Catholic. Catholic, one Oak Ridge, one Catholic, one Oak Ridge. That looks like a Catholic swimmer and then an Oak Ridge swimmer. Like the 500-meter relays, this is a hard one to commentate. But just like that, it just comes down to who can keep the most energy throughout the race. Here's Mason is coming out. Mason Fisher for Oak Ridge in lane 4, looking to close out. And it looks like Mason is able to grab the first for Oak Ridge. As our final swimmer comes in, that concludes event 23, and we now begin the final event of the night, the men's 400-meter freestyle relay. For Oak Ridge, In lane 4, we have Brown, Hodge, Sukoff, and Cho. Definitely tonight's dream team, if ever that could have been the fact. And then in lane 5 and 7 for Catholic, in lane 5 we have Hank Burners, Dylan Arnold, Colin Tornstrom, and Daniel Arnold. In lane as always, Oak Ridge in lane 4, Catholics in lane 3 and 5.
And as Tejas is getting close to finishing his lap, Dylan Hodge is up next.
Hodge did a very good job clinching a victory in the men's 500 meter free. In the men's 500 meter, can he keep Oak Ridge another lap ahead of the competition? As he comes back in, it looks like Zukov will now be hitting the water.
Actually looks like lane 3 is catching up to Dylan.
It'll be a close race between lanes 3 and 5. Yes, lane 3 has pulled ahead of lane 5. 4. 5 and 4. And lane 3 for Catholics in the water versus Zukov for Oak Ridge is now in the water. He's got
Looks like Zukov actually made it. He's actually passed lane 3.
It is still neck and neck. They're right on top of each other. Can Zukov make up the... As Zukov pulls in, Cho is posed to be the last Oak Ridge swimmer of the night. Can he seal the deal and pull first in? The final swimmer in lane 3 is in for Catholic. An Oak Ridge first place win is on Cho's shoulders. It all comes down to him. Cho's in the lead, but lane 3's catching up with him. And Cho does it. Oak Ridge gets first place. A good night for both teams. It was close throughout. It's unmuted. And that concludes another great meet for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. They had a very good competitive game against Knox Catholic. Thank you all for coming out tonight to watch this, whether you were here or watching it. Make sure you tune in next time for another episode of our talk show, and make sure you tune in on December 7th for Oak Ridge's next home game. As always, this is John Harris and
Christian Rosas
signing off.